Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the weapons comparison series for Insurgency Sandstorm. I am Mr. Rain, and today we are looking at the two new weapons that were brought in from the recent patch for Sandstorm, and that would be the QBZ and the VHS. Now the QBZ, so now let's go ahead and just do what we always do, typical rundown and then the recoil test. So, the QBZ runs a 5.56 NATO, vertical recoil of 24, a very low horizontal of 6, a high velocity of 850 meters per second, a fire rate of 750, and a penetration of 299. A standard mag capacity of 30, and then full auto and single fire. The QBZ costs 5 supply points to begin with, so pretty much trying to add, so any attachments that you put on would really take a toll out of your overall points. It has an extended magazine that will give you 35 rounds, and then it has a drum mag that will give you 50. For the sake of testing, we will only be using the standard 30 mag capacity. So let's go ahead and load this up. Alright, so looking at the irons, they look very similar to the G3A3, which I know I have not covered on this channel yet, but that's what they remind me of. Very clean, very minimalistic. Don't have any issues with this at all. Looks very nice. So let's go ahead and run the recoil comparison. Alright, so we're going to shoot the QBZ in 3, 2, 1. So, it's pretty much a straight up and down weapon with very little horizontal recoil. It was easy to take control of once I figured out how to counter it. And yeah, not squirrely at all, just felt like it was going straight up. So, if you just want a gun that doesn't have a whole lot of horizontal recoil, then this gun is definitely for you. So let's go ahead and see what the difference is with the VHS. So looking at the VHS, it runs a caliber of 5.56 again, a vertical recoil of 21, and another low horizontal of 9. In the comparison, the QBZ has vertical of 24 and a horizontal of 6. So the real only difference, at least stats wise, is that you get a little more horizontal with the VHS and a little less in exchange for a little less vertical recoil. Has a velocity of 850 meters per second, has an extremely high fire rate of 857 rounds per minute, and a penetration of 299, standard mag capacity of 30, a full auto fire mode, and a single fire mode. And so the VHS fires at an extremely high velocity of 850 meters per second, which is faster than the MP5, to keep that in mind. It also costs 5 supply points, so again, putting on any additional attachments is going to take a bit out of your overall loadout. It has an extended mag capacity of 35 and a drum mag of 50 as well. So let's go ahead and load up the gun. Okay. So looking at the iron sights, they remind me a lot of the G36K, which I did cover in this series. It's a little bulky, but using this gun a few times, it hasn't really bothered me a whole lot. It's very clean, it's just, a lot of metal in the way. For my own personal liking, I do prefer a more minimalistic iron sights, but these do the job just fine. So, let's go ahead and run the recoil test. Alright, testing the VHS recoil in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, that's a bit of a difference. Since I knew what the recoil was going to feel like at the start, I was able to stop the vertical recoil from climbing. So this is not, again, a 1-to-1, just more or less. There is a little more horizontal that I felt controlling the VHS, but in comparison to other rifles like the M4, it's really very minimal. You can really use these guns like right out of the box with no attachments and you'll be perfectly fine. That seems like what they're going for with these two weapons. But with that being said, we are going to test how these weapons feel with a vertical foregrip. So I will be reloading the range, and we're going to try these recoil tests one more time with the foregrip. Alright, firing the QBZ with a foregrip. 3, 2, 1. Well, there's not a whole lot of horizontal as expected, and the vertical, it does its job. It keeps your pattern pretty on point. Yeah, it's just a straight line shooter. If you don't want to deal with horizontal recoil at all, then this gun is definitely for you. Foregrip just kind of helps with keeping your aim a little more on center. So now let's go ahead and run the test with the VHS. Alright, so here we are with the VHS. Before I fire these shots, I do want to say that the QBZ and the VHS both require 3 supply points for the standard foregrip. So that will give your loadout total to 8 supply points for your primary rifle if you decide to equip it with a foregrip. So let's go ahead and run the recoil test. 3, 2, 1. And so we get a pattern similar to what we've seen with the M4A1 with the foregrip as well. Essentially, it's essentially these two weapons the way they're designed. The QBC is going to be it's going to have limited horizontal with more vertical recoil, and the VHS will be the exact opposite with very limited horizontal recoil, or very limited vertical recoil, and a little more horizontal. Nonetheless, these two weapons are very solid. They do their jobs really well. It all comes down to preference as to whether you want a gun that will be easier to shoot in one way or the other. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, and if you want to see more, please consider subscribing. And I will see you guys in the next one.